so long, I think modelers have been asking for something to go with all those pretty pre-grouping locomotives. Hi there everyone, I'm here at Hattons, I'm with Dave, and I really wanted to talk about Project Genesis, and these are the new 6-wheel and 4-wheel pre-grouping coaches. And I just have to say, when I saw this announced, it kind of blew me away a bit, because for so long I think modelers have been asking for something to go with all those pretty pre-grouping locomotives. Yeah. And I'm guessing you probably got sick and tired of telling people, well, we haven't got anything to go with that. But I mean, what really was the genesis of Project Genesis? What made you think that there is a market there for this?
That was partly it, where we've produced things like the P-Class in the past, and there's others from other manufacturers like the H-Class from Hornby, things like that, where they've got these lovely exquisite liveries, but there wasn't really much to go with it. The pre-grouping in rolling stock is really not, I don't want to say it's been neglected, but it's not, there's not much there for it.
Yeah.
So with the locos coming along, we did look and go, well, we're having to suggest pretty outlandish things to go with these locomotives. Why can't we produce something that could help fill a gap for these people who've got these locomotives and are looking for something to put behind them?
Very much so. And what I like about it is, I guess with pre-grouping rolling stock, a lot of people might say, oh, why didn't you go for a very specific railway company? But you've gone for something that's kind of like a generic representation. I mean, was that a big decision for you? Were you worried that could have stirred up a bit of controversy?
Yeah, we were. When we first started looking at the sort of idea of 4 and 6-wheel coaches, we did try and find what we normally do with a prototype that would fill the gap for that sort of niche. But with the pre-grouping, with there being so many railway companies all having different people building coaches either for them or in their own works, you look very quickly and there's no real, like, one, oh yeah, that's one that looks like all of them, or that one had so many builds that they got through all these other companies and things. There just isn't that sort of, there's 1 or 2 coaches which had a lot, but you wouldn't be able to build a full range from them.
Yeah.
So we looked and thought, right, very early on, this is going to have to be something a bit different, a bit out there. And yeah, one of our worries was the reaction from people. You know, we thought there might be a bit more of a push from the prototypical people that model at a sort of a specific era or a specific place, with them saying, "Oh, this isn't going to work for that." But it's been completely the opposite of that. We've had a very, very, very positive reaction from the whole modelling community. It's been really refreshing to see. It's just really nice that the people have taken it on board and understood why we're doing it and said, no, I've got all these locos and nothing to run. I finally got something to put behind them.
Because I mean, that's something that I've always found. I really love the pre-grouping liveries, and like you say, there's been this like graveyard, this desert of nothing to go with them. So I mean, can you see now with the response that you've got from these, is it likely to open up a whole new avenue of maybe other pre-grouping vehicles?
Possibly. I mean, it's a bit too early to say. I mean, we're only a week and a half into, almost 2 weeks into the announcement, but there has been a fantastic response from customers and everything for the pre-orders and everything. So yeah, it might see more stuff coming up. I'd go out there and say, yeah, you're definitely going to see more pre-grouping locos from people, because obviously they lasted longer into the BR era and things like that, so they'll come through. As for rolling stock, maybe it's sort of a watch this space to see how these go, and how, you know, we've obviously got 3 batches announced for these, so we've got quite a long plan for these as it is. But that's not to say it won't be supplemented in future years with all their pre-grouping stock.
Right, and one of the things that I was thinking about when I saw the announcement, in particular the 6-wheel coaches, was I know that Daypol had a go with making a 6-wheel coach and had a lot of difficulties with that centre axle. Have you come up with a new way of doing that, or how are you looking at solving the problem with that floating centre axle?
The centre axle, yeah, there was some problems with other people who've done it in the past. It's not just Apple that's had problems, there's been quite a few. But the factory that we're using to have these producers also produced stuff in HO for Europe and in other scales, N and TT as well, in the 6-wheelers. So they have got experience of it in the past, and some of those have been really, really nice coaches that have no problems running.
Right.
So we're using a lot of their inspiration. The centre axle is going to be a sliding centre axle rather than rotating with fixed outer axles. So it means that it's a much more stable base for the coaches.
Right.
And it's a proven system as well that they've used before. So it's nothing experimental or out there. It is something that people should be able to know will work.
Right, that's great, because I think that was probably my only worry when I saw them in-house was that floating middle axle. So it's great to hear that you've really put a lot of thought into that. And I'm also quite interested as well, it's not just the pre-grouping liveries that you've announced for these, but also you've not neglected Big Four modelers, and even into the BR period. I was quite interested to see the departmental coaches, and I think what a lot of people forget is that some of these older design coaches did actually last quite a long time being used as mess vans and tool vans and stuff, and indeed an awful lot of the ones that have passed into preservation, that's kind of how they came to be preserved.
Well, I think you've got a lot of the time you can tell how coaches come into preservation just looking at the underframe. There's the ones that have the realistic underframes really fairly historically important, so are kept very nice, or as you say with tool vans, mess vans, things like that's kept their underframes all the way through. The ones without the original underframes, a lot of them built on old wagon underframes that have been shortened or lengthened to suit. They tended to be used as things like homes, sheds, anything that you like use for livestock, things like that. Especially down in the southeast, a lot of them were kept as houses down there. And there's still people that have houses built of 4 and 6 wheel coaches still living in them. There was one I saw recently that a gentleman had an original, I think it was Great Eastern coach, and it still had the original paint on the side.
Really?
And he was just about to take all the original paint off and repaint it, which was a bit of an oh no, don't do that. But he did stencil out all of the lining and all of the original numbering and everything was all stenciled first, and then he just repainted it later and done a full photographic survey. So at least it survives in some way, but the coach is still there being used as a house. Well, it's generally they have a shell of a house, so it's the centre is the coach, and then they sort of build a roof off either side to make a large living space. But yeah, still good to see that something over 100 years old is being
very
used.
Much, yeah. And the other thing I've seen from the announcements as well that really drew my eye was the NCB livery stuff. Did a lot of these coaches pass on into other users like the National Railway?
So your earlier coaches will have passed on to small light railways, sort of your Colonel Stevens railways sort of thing. So railways where they didn't have enough passengers or money to be able to go out and make or buy their own coaches, they would sort of get second-hand coaches for much cheaper than you'd buy a normal coach for, because they were only running along fairly sort of poorly laid track, and they were offering a service to purely offer a service. It wasn't like it was a regular service or something. It was just these towns need to be linked. We'll put a couple of trains a day on, and these were the coaches that be used. A lot went into that sort of use, but yeah, some went into industry as well for the likes of miners' trains. A lot of hot pickers down in the southeast, things like that. They'd have their own trains where they'd sit round for most of the year and be used completely seasonally. So when they needed to bring the crop in, all the work had come in for a few weeks, and they'd use them to ferry the people around. Things like that. So you would see them, and they'd be in all sorts of states of different liveries, different conditions, some completely dilapidated, but they were being used 3-4 times a year for a couple of trains a day. It didn't really matter, as long as they didn't derail and you got the people there, they didn't really mind. Yeah,
because I saw that in the NCB ones, my thoughts with that is another area that's been neglected for so long, and this is great for that as well as the industrial side of railways. And it's great to see that being catered for as well. And I think that this project, it ticks so many boxes that really, when I saw it, I thought, that's the sleeper hit announcement of this year. You can forget your big ticket announcement locos. They're great in their way. But this kind of ties all the pieces together and go, right, you can have your complete trains, your complete model, and catering for everybody from pre-grouping right through to that industrial and BR departmental. I just thought, this is one to watch, so it's great to be able to come in here and have a few words with you about it. So I'd just like to say thanks very much for talking with me, and best of luck with this project.
Cheers,
and do you have a projected delivery date? When are you expecting them to reach the market?
Batch ones we're looking at Q1 2021, so just over 12 months away for the first batch, and then the rest of the batches we'll announce more when we know exactly when they're going to arrive afterwards.
Right,
and it won't be all of them landing up on the doorstep at once either.
That was my big worry as well, because I want to order quite a few, and I think I got cold feet. We had about £1,000 worth of pre-orders, but certainly I think that this is going to be really successful. So start saving up. That's the date to remember. 2021. Get the money in the piggy bank, because these are ones to watch. But I'd like to extend a big thank you to Dave here and everybody at Hattons for talking with us. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel. You'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, you take really good care of yourself. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Michael Churchwood, Bob Threeton, Alec Ralph, Anthony Hunt, William Wade, Wayne Johns, Offshore Allen, and oorail.co.uk. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knob T. Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.